Hello students, how are you? I hope you all are fit and fine. So dear students, as you all are aware that in my last video lesson we discussed poem for A Thing of Beauty written by John Keats. Reading and explanation of this poem was done in last video lesson. Today in this video lesson we are going to discuss the literary devices used in this poem. So I hope you all are ready for the same. Let us begin. You should keep pen paper so that you can note down the poetic devices used in this poem. Literary devices. Literary devices used in this poem. So first of all we will be discussing rhyming scheme. Let us discuss rhyme scheme. So rhyme scheme of the poem, as we can see, it is A, B, it is A, B, C, as forever, never, keep, sleep, breathing, as the lines are ending on it. So rhyme scheme is A, B, C. If you will go through the whole poem, lines are ending on forever, never, keep, sleep, breathing. Okay, so lines are ending on forever, never, keep, sleep, breathing. So the rhyme scheme of all stanzas is A, B, C. Next poetic device in this poem is alliteration. Plenty of examples you can find out in this poem. Use of, as we all know that alliteration is a use of consonant sound at the start of two words which are closed in a series. So that is called alliteration. You all know the definition. Even though, let me make you write once again. Use of consonant sound at the start of two words which are closed, which are closed in series. Okay, so for example, as you can see, sleep, sweet. So here two consonant sound in nearby words here have been repeated. Okay, have been used. So that is why it is alliteration. Okay, so in stanza 1, as of now we discussed rhyme scheme A, B, C and alliteration. Okay, let me rub it and discuss more poetic devices used in this poem. So I hope you have taken a screenshot. Either you can take the screenshot or you may pause the video and write it down. Next poetic device is metaphor. Next poetic device is metaphor, that is bower quiet. Metaphor, bower quiet. We are talking about stanza 1. Bower quiet. As here calmness of bower is compared to the calming effect of beautiful things. Now that is why it is metaphor. Calmness of the bower is compared to the calming effect is compared to the calming effect of a beautiful things, of a beautiful thing. That is why it is metaphor. The third poetic device in stanza 1. We are discussing about stanza 1. Okay. So as of now we have discussed rhyme scheme, that is A, B, B, C, alliteration and metaphor. Okay, these three poetic devices have been used in the first stanza. You may find out more on your own, so you should go through the poem, and if you find more poetic devices, you should note them down and must discuss in online classes. As we all know that enjambment is used in whole poem. Enjambment, we all are aware that when the line of the poem continues to the next line without any punctuation mark, it is called enjambment. So there is plenty of use of enjambment in this poem. Okay, so let me rub it and discuss the poetic devices used in the second stanza. Now let us discuss the poetic devices used in stanza 2. Okay, so look at your book, look at the stanza. Now we are going to find out the poetic, look at the lines of stanza 2. We are going to find out the poetic devices which are used in stanza 2. First one is anaphora of noble natures of all the unhealthy. So here when vowel sound is made prominent in any line of the poem, it is called anaphora. It is it is called consonance. Sorry, here use of same word in two consecutive lines. If two consecutive lines start with the same word, it is called anaphora. Okay, use of same word. Use of same word in two consecutive lines. Use of same word into consecutive lines. So as you can see in your book, of noble natures this line of noble natures, and next line of all the unhealthy, of all the unhealthy. Okay, so here this line starts with of, and the next line is next line also starts with of, so that is why it is anaphora. Now once again in this stanza alliteration has been used. Alliteration, once again, as you can see here, band, bind, repetition of B, band, bind, here repetition of B, and noble nature, repetition of N, noble nature, repetition of N, some shape, repetition of S. Okay, so these are alliterations here. Okay, then in stanza 2 we have seen anaphora. It is anaphora. Anaphora, use of same word in two consecutive lines of noble nature, of all the unhealthy. Alliteration, band, bind, noble nature, some shape. So here we can see repetition of B in nearby words, repetition of N in nearby words, and repetition of S in nearby words. So let me grab it and discuss more poetic devices used in this poem. Imagery. Next is in stanza 2. In stanza 2, next is imagery, creating a sensory effect of beautiful things, creating a sensory effect of beautiful things, creating a sensory effect of beautiful things lined up in a string, lined up in a string, a flowery band to bind us. In this line, a flowery band to bind us, a flowery band to bind us. It is imagery here, because a flowery band, through flowery band, the imagination of natural surrounding here can be done. So that is why it is imagery. Next is inversion. When normal order of word is changed, it is called inversion. Next poetic device which has been used in this stanza 2, it is inversion. 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 Normal order of words is reversed. Normal order of words is reversed. For example, are we reading a flowery bed? Are we reading a flowery band? Are we reading a flowery band? So the normal order of this line is we are reading a flowery band. So it has been reversed. So that is why it is inversion. Okay. So normal order of words, when they are reversed, then it is called inversion. Okay. So please keep taking the screenshot, or you can pause the video and write them down. Now let us discuss the poetic devices used in stanza 3. Now we are going to discuss the poetic devices used in stanza 3. Okay, so look at stanza 3 now. The first poetic device is alliteration. The first poetic device is alliteration. Use of consonant sound at the start of two words, as we all know, which are closed in series, that is T in that, themselves, C in cooling covered, H in have, heard. Okay, as you can see, that, themselves, repetition of T, cooling covered, repetition of C, and have heard, here repetition of H in which is closed in series, Okay, so next is imagery. Once again, imagery have been used. Plenty of imagery has been used in this poem. Here, sprouting shady boon, so which can be imagined as beautiful things, trees giving shade, so that is sprouting shady boon, sprouting shady boon, sprouting shady boon, sprouting shady boon, and daffodils with the green world they live in, daffodils with the green world they live in. Daffodils with the green world they live in. Clean river streams. Here, clear rills. Okay. These are imaginary as sprouting shady boon refers to trees giving shade, and growing process of daffodils have been referred as daffodils with the green world they live in, and clean river streams has been referred by clear rills. Next is antithesis. When opposite words are placed together, so that is called antithesis. So let me rub it and write down the next poetic device used in this poem. Next is antithesis. Antithesis, when opposite words placed together. Opposite words placed together. Okay, when opposite words placed together. So as we can see here, old and young. Old and young. Once again, next one is metaphor. Where, look at these lines. Here, immortal drinks. Immortal drinks. Immortal brings. As immortal brings refers beautiful objects of nature are forever like a never ending portion of a drink. Okay, so when an indirect comparison is made, then it is called metaphor. You all are aware. Rhyme scheme we have already discussed. Imagery has been used at one more place. Sorry. Next one, imagery. Imagery, bushes full of musk rose. Here also springing of fair musk rose bloom. Books describing valor of fighter, that is grandeur, mighty death. God providing us with best thing, that is pouring from the heavens. Bring, okay, imagery, bushes of musk roses. Bushes of musk roses. Bushes of musk roses. Sprinkling of fair musk rose blooms. Sprinkling of fair musk rose blooms. Sprinkling of fair musk rose blooms. Next is books describing valor of fighters. Books describing valor of fighters. Books describing valor of fighter, that is grandeur, mighty deed. Grandeur and mighty deed. Grandeur and mighty deed. Let me rub it and write down the next one. More examples of imagery used in this poem. Imagery, it is not imagery, but out of habit I mispronounce it. God providing us with best things. God providing us with best things. So that is pouring from the heavens spring. Pouring from the heavens bring. Pouring from the heavens bring. Okay, so it's all about the poetic devices used in this poem, dear students. All these poetic devices you must write down in your fair notebook. Either you may pause the video or you may take a screenshot and they must be written in your fair notebook. And also at the same time, you yourself also should try to find out more poetic devices used in this poem, and you must note them down, and the same should be discussed in online classes. So hoping that you will once again go through the whole poem, you will once again read the stanza, the poem line by line, and will be paraphrasing in your fair notebook. You must, as you have already done for the other poems too, in the same way, you will have to do difficult words and their meanings, paraphrasing, and the poetic devices, literary devices which we are discussing here, which we have discussed in this video lesson, and which you will find while going through it. Sorry, it is not 1, it should be 7. So it is by mistake here. Extremely sorry for that. Okay, so thank you dear students for watching this video. See you tomorrow.